It's Saturday, January 30th here at the West End Gun Club. Happy belated New Year's to all of you. It's a little bit late for a New Year's message, but this is my first range vlog for 2021. Been trying to come out to the range earlier this month, but the weather in Southern California has been a little bit sketchy on the weekends. Really windy, a lot of high winds the past few weeks, and then this past week we had some rains, which isn't too bad, and came out here. It's a little bit wet out here, but not too bad. It's not as cold as I thought it would be. Nothing's really frozen at this elevation. There's some snow at the higher elevations, but it's not too bad out here. But came out here to shoot just run through the February 2021 NRL22 Course of Fire. Matches are still on hold here at the West End Gun Club, but again, I always want to come out here and run through the stages of fire just to record them for other people to see and just for me to practice. Again, I haven't shot in well over about a month. I last came out here on I think the last weekend of December. We'd like to get some shooting in, so let's go ahead and get set up before it starts to get a little busy here at the range. It's just before 7 o'clock, so it'll take me about maybe a half hour or so, a little bit longer, just to set up two stages. I'll set up two stages, maybe or more, and then shoot those and set up the other two stages, shoot those, and then shoot one more, set up the fifth stage and shoot that one. Enough talking. Let's go ahead and set up. I set up two stages. I'm not going to shoot the stages in the order that they appear on the NRL22 match program. I set up one of the prone stages first because I wanted to warm up a little bit, just double check zeros. So I figured may as well just lay that stage out first, and we'll run through that one when we run through the course of fire. It's a little colder, so I just wanted to make sure that all my zeros are good. As far as just some random banter while I'm warming up here. Things of as far as what's current events and whatnot, SHOT Show was canceled this year. That should have been last week. Didn't go to that obviously because it was canceled, and first time since 2010, because 2010 was 2010 all the way up until 2020, all in a row. It was in Vegas. I think in 2009 it might have been in Florida. In 2008 it was in Vegas. One of those two. It alternated. But so first time in 11 years that I have not gone to Vegas in January for SHOT Show, which was disappointing. Some new products were announced from various companies during that week, just in the spirit of announcing new products. A few interesting things, but nothing I'm going to buy. Vortex came out with some new tripods, but a lot of people are excited about it because it's Vortex, and Vortex has their name, and they're less expensive than Really Right Stuff, and the thing is, it looks like they copied Really Right Stuff in terms of the design of the ball head, at least the appearance. Now the legs, they look like a lot of the carbon fiber legs that you're gonna find on Amazon. Like I think it's I can't think of the names off the top of my head of these companies, but it seems like they all come out of the same Chinese factory. So they're okay. I have one of them, like this. What the heck is this thing? This is Enduro, the Enduro tripod legs. It's similar in design. It's carbon fiber, but I think based on the design and what I've seen on the other stuff that you find on Amazon or anything that's coming out of China, I think they're all predicated on the same design. They might even come out of the same factory, just with a different name on it. So, that's just speculation. Will it be good enough? Maybe. I'd be curious to see their heads. Their heads will probably be decent, but I've been a Really Right Stuff user for well over, about 15 years now because of photography and stuff. So I stick with Really Right Stuff. They are expensive, but they are U.S. made. They are the ones doing a lot of development. So anyway, don't want to digress on that. Other cup Aimpoint came out with the Comp M5S. I think that's what it's called. Looks interesting. AA battery. Is it powered by AA? AA, I think. Looks interesting, but do I need a new red dot? Not really. Night Force came out with a new ATEC R. I think it's a 30 mil tube, but it's got a 56 objective, I think. And it's a, forgive me for being wrong about this, but I think it's a 5 to 20 or something like that. But I think parallax is down to either 10, 11 meters or something. So that's a good rimfire scope. Because I know the ATAC R5 to 25 does not parallax down. It parallaxes down to 50 yards. So that's not good for rimfire, because that's why people are going to the 7 to 35 ATAC R. Collis came out with some new scopes. I don't remember it was just a slight upgrade to this. I can't remember what the things were, but I mean, again, it wasn't really much announced that caught my eye, to be honest. I think Bergara came out with a new rimfire, which is kind of like a CZ 457 competitor. It's it's a bolt gun, but it supposedly uses 700 triggers. 700 triggers, but it's not an AICS like style magazine. So that's an interesting thing. I'd be curious to see that. And I think it's priced right around like CZ 457 range, right around the 600 or 700, I think. I wasn't paying attention. I just thought it was interesting. So I don't know. I don't know if anybody saw anything else that they liked announced last week or a week and a half ago. But, I mean, there's probably something out there that'll appeal to you. So this lot of SK long range match usually shoots around 1120 feet per second when it's warm, or when it's warmer out weather. But right now it's shooting right at 1100 feet per second. Shooting dead on though, 1198. I think I might use this as like winter ammo, to be honest, because it seems to be holding pretty good at 100. The elevation is dead on, 1102. The windage, a little bit left to right, but that's just me. Wow, I mean, it's holding a nice scoop on steel, to be honest. Let's go ahead and start off the February 2021 NRL22 Course of Fire run-through with the stage dubbed You Give Love and Support Side a Bad Name. So, it's going to be 5 targets of 5 distances, 120 seconds, round to count of 10. We have a 1.5 inch at 50 yards, a 1 inch at 60, a 2 inch at 75, a 3 inch at 90, and a 2.5 inch at 100 yards. One piece of equipment, as usual. 10 points, 100 points possible. 10 points per impact, 100 points possible. You're going to start standing, rifle and all gear in hand, mag in, action open. Upon start signal, take a prone supportive position and engage the targets from large to small. So this is where you need to be aware that they're not large to small isn't in order of distance. It's actually off if you paid attention to how I read off where the targets are located. So you're actually going to shoot large to small, which is 90, 100, 75, 50, and 60 in order. So 90, 100, 75, 50, 60 with 1 shot each. Then switch to the support side and re-engage the targets large to small in the same manner. 90, 100, 75, 50, and 60 1 shot each. Pretty easy. Well, so it's easy, but it's pretty straightforward. You're just basically shooting that order. Regular side, then support side. It's timed, but it's not the bonus stage. So I would recommend that you just take it easy. Don't try to force shots. I don't think I'm gonna definitely adjust parallax, but I don't think I'm gonna adjust for elevation. Probably gonna hold over. We'll see. Whew, barely nicked that last shot. So it's really straightforward. 106 seconds took me. So the biggest problem for me today, right now, is I can't see very well with my left eye. I need a better prescription, to be honest. But what I cheated. I was looking at earlier. I actually turned on my my illumination on my reticle to help my eye focus, because since I'm shooting first focal plane, my reticle shrinks when I dial down. I'm right now at 12x or 12 magnification. My left eye is not seeing the reticle clearly, so I basically use the illumination in order so I can see, to make sure that when I'm holding over, I'm actually at the 1 hash or the 0.5 hash or wherever that may be. If you're not going to hold over, you probably can get away without doing that, but the problem is you lose so much time if you don't hold over. So that's what I end up doing. You can shoot tighter, like if you have a problem with your support side eye, if it's not very, it's not easy for you to see the reticle, but you don't want, and you try to increase the magnification, but you don't want to do that because you lose field of view and you lose time hunting for the target. So, again, just support side. I think that's what a lot of people have problems with support sides, because they're just not used to using that left eye or your opposite eye. I think you need to exercise that regularly, because if you're always using your dominant eye, you never use your support eye in a shooting situation, you're just gonna struggle. So I think you exercise that as much as you can. Maybe, I don't know, look through a spotting scope with your other eye every now and then. Like, just if you're at home or something, just use the spotting scope and just kind of look out, go out on the patio or something, go outside, get some air, and just sit there and use your left eye or your support eye or whatever your opposite eye is, just to get that use out of it. And this won't be a problem. But today, struggled a little bit, but I was able to get it through. So that's all I have to say about this stage. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Next course of fire is also a prone stage. This was a KYL stage. It's called All My Exes Live in Texas. 120 seconds, round count of 10. We've got 2 banks of targets, 2 distances. We got the KYL, all 4 KYLs, the 1, 3/4, ½ inch, and 1/4 inch at 40 yards. And we have a 1.5 at 80 on a single hanger. You're going to, one piece of equipment as usual. You're going to start standing, rifle and all gear in hand, mag in action open. Upon start signal, shooter will take a prone supported position and engage the KYL, large to small, with 1 shot each. Hit or miss, move on. So take your shot and move on. Then engage the 1.5 inch target. So KYL, large to small, then the 80-yard target. Then re-engage in the same order. Shooter may not adjust magnification, windage, or elevation once given the start signal. You lost that privilege. Okay, yeah, this is a theme part. Only parallax may be adjusted. So just hold over. It's pretty simple. I can't imagine. If you can hold over for any other stage, this one should be relatively easy. Just make sure you know what your holdover is. All right, let's go ahead and give that a whirl. Barely grazed that one. Hit's a hit. Clean. Not much to say about that. Pretty straightforward. Just take your time. I had 77 on the clock. So you can go really slow if you need to. I mean, there really isn't much need to take that much time because you're not adjusting anything but parallax. Because you're not moving any knobs, so it makes it simpler. It just make sure you hold over and just hold tight, and just make sure your windage is accurate at 40 yards because that 1/4 inch KYL is always going to be a problem with any sort of wind, and if you have any deviation that day on your zero, 1/10 of a mil is pretty easy to get you off of a target. So not much else to say. That stage is pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and rearrange some targets. We'll run through the next 3 stages. As I was setting up the other 3 stages of the course of fire, I realized that each of the other stages that I set up, they only have one set of targets at one distance. So each of the next 3 stages I'm going to discuss or run through will only be shot at one distance for each stage. So it kind of makes things a little easier, I think, in that you're not moving distance to distance, but we'll see. The 3rd stage of fire we're going to run through is called Pick Your Poison, but do it quickly. 120-second part time, 10 rounds. And this is the bonus stage, so you get 1/10 of a point per second remaining on the clock, under 120 seconds. We have 4 targets for this one, all at 65 yards. We have a 5 and a 4 inch on a double hook, a double hanger, and a 3 and a 2 inch on a double hanger. So 4 and 5, 2 and 3, however you want to look at it. You get 1 piece of equipment in accordance with NRL22 rules, and you also have a sling, I think. The way I'm reading it, you get the sling and 1 piece of equipment. So the sling is only to be used in unsupported positions. I hate that word unsupported, but because I call a sling support. So anyway, you're going to start standing, rifle on gear in hand, mag in, action open. And the number of shots per target per position is predetermined, but on signal, the shooter can pick their poison by shooting the stage in the order they see fit. So you have 4 positions you're going to assume. You're going to have to shoot standing on the 5 inch with 2 shots. You're going to shoot top of the sawhorse, the 4 inch target, with 3 shots. You're going to shoot the bottom of the sawhorse, so I assume it's just whatever this is, that's the 3 inch with 3 shots, and you're going to shoot prone unsupported. That means the sling only, with 2 shots on the 2 inch. So standing, 5 inch, 2 shots, top of sawhorse, 4 inch, 3 shots, bottom of sawhorse, 3 inch with 3 shots, and the prone unsupported 2 inch with 2 shots. Should be pretty straightforward, just got to remember what you're shooting. Kind of get that in your head. Standing, 5, top of sawhorse. So standing with 2 shots, top of sawhorse with 3 shots, bottom of sawhorse 3 shots, and prone. So just think the sawhorse positions will be 3 shots, and it's just going to be the medium target, so the 4 and the 3, and then the standing and the prone shots will be positions will be 2 shots each at the largest and the smallest. That's how I would look at it. And you can decide on what order you're going to shoot them in. Honestly, I didn't really think about that. I think you want to do slung first. If you're going to use a sling at all, you might want to start in the sling position. And in my head, I would rather start standing shooting because you're already standing. I don't know, I guess that's my opinion on the matter. No, I'm not telling you it should be optimal. I guess just pick whichever you want to go. I'm just thinking standing. I don't use the sling in standing, I just shoot it free-handed. The sling will be attached, but I shoot it free-handed. I don't know, we'll see. Wow, it timed out. So I had a bit of a timed out, no bonus time. I finished with, I've had some magazine issues. Wasn't feeding well. It's usually, I try to tune it a little bit for my tune. I had to tune my gun for the magazines, but the problem is, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the polymer mags and the billet mags, they fit differently in terms of where the mag catch engages and how high it is in the gun. The polymer mags the billet mags sit higher than the billet mags, and so when I retuned it, I tuned it so I could actually seat the billet mags, because the billet mags wouldn't seat when I had this set up, this gun specifically set up for the polymer mags. So that is a problem. Little bit of feeding issue. Kind of irritating. I know a lot of people have these problems with all rimfires. People complain about Voodoos. Sorry, my mic's on hand. But people complain about Voodoos. People complain about Rimex. People complain about Bergara. But I mean, it's a common issue across the board. It's just you got to learn how to tune your gun, because just feeding can be a problem. I thought I had this worked out, but again, it's mainly because I retuned the gun to accept billet mags, and I might just switch back to using the long action mag catch, because I had the long action mag catch for the MPA in this gun on this rifle chassis. Sorry, I'm spitting, but and that worked great for the billet mags. But when I tried to use polymer mags, but when I tried to set billet mags in that, it wouldn't engage the mag catch. So that's why I took out the long action mag catch and put in the adjustable one and try to tune that one as best I could. Anyway, I saved one round. No bonus time. Let's go ahead and move on to anyway, I guess I should give you tips before we move on, but I think I should have got my last shot off. That wasn't a problem. I think the ordering, I think it might be better, to be honest, to start prone if you're going to use a sling, because the sling, as you saw, I wasted, let's say, 10 seconds or so putting the sling onto the gun, and that takes up time. Should I just shot without the sling? Who knows? I think I needed it because I had some bounce. I think you should start, if you're going to use a sling and you have it slung up correctly for the correct tension, like you're actually stable, like rock solid stable when you're prone position, start off sling first. So get down to prone, start sling, then detach that thing when you're going to use it when you're going to shoot the other positions off the sawhorse and standing. That's my opinion. You should be able to save at least a few seconds there. But I just like this. My mentality for starting standing was simply because we're already standing. Why not just shoulder the gun? In retrospect, I think it would just been easier to drop into prone, shoot prone, detach sling, shoot this, sawhorse, and then just stand up and shoot. So anyway, let's go and move on to the next stage. Next stage of fire we're running through is called Love Stinks and So Do Ladders. It's a ladder stage, which is why I have a ladder in front of me. 120-second part time, 10 rounds. We have one target, it's a 2-inch steel target, 70 yards. So it's pretty straightforward as far as targetry. One piece of equipment in accordance to the rules, 10 points per impact, 100 points possible. You're going to start standing, rifle and all gear in hand, mag in, action open. Upon the start signal, engage the target with 4 shots from any step on the ladder. So you're going to take 4 shots from any step. Then you're going to move to a different step and engage with 3 shots, move to a different step and engage with 2 shots, and move to a different step and re-engage with 1 shot. So 4, 3, 2, 1, and no step can be repeated, but you can, so you must use different steps, but you can pick any steps you want. It doesn't matter what they are, so you do them however you please. It's all going to depend on your body type and how you are comfortable in various positions. For me, if I can get to the tallest one, I can shoot that one relatively comfortably, especially at this range since we're shooting kind of at an angle, so I can easily get a good position being short as I am. Usually this position where I'm kind of semi bent over, that one is like the most unstable for me. So I usually probably skip this one. This one, when I'm on the knees, that's pretty easy. And then this one, I can usually finagle this one. And then this one, the lowest one, usually it's simple because you're in a quasi-prone position.
But that's kind of where my personal opinion, I'm probably going to skip, I would skip this, any position where I'm sort of hunched over like this. I can shoot it better if I'm just shooting, fully stood up. So, I mean, that's just me. Your mileage may vary depending on, again, on your body type and how you can shoot positions. So, let's try it out. Wow, it went right. I saw that round go right. Dropped one. Barely clipped it. Barely. I got one round left. Actually, this step is a little taller than me. Okay. So I missed a round to the right when I was shooting prone. I saw it go way right, and I didn't pull it. I had a good solid position. It's just the wind. As much as you think that survey marker flag is moving left, you think the wind's going left, it actually pushed right. And we got these high berms on both sides of the rimfire range, and it makes the wind swirl in a funny way here. So you got to be careful of that. Anyway, to the actual shooting positions, you might have noticed instead of using this Aero 419 rail changer bag, which I commonly use on this ladder stage, I decided to use a regular bag. This one was given to me by Womfat. If you haven't seen his channel, check it out. He gave this to me like last year, a year and a half ago. And it's a pretty good bag. I mean, he was experimenting with bags and making his own bags. And I like this one actually for this range specifically because it squashes down pretty thin when I need to. So anyway, I used a bag like this basically anytime, similar to a game changer. But and the reason why I did this instead of using the rail changer is because when I went to the bottom step to shoot my 4 shots, I end up just resting my gun directly on the step and using this for my rear support and basically shot prone. And that was rock solid. Granted, I dropped one because of the wind. And then for all the subsequent steps, I just use this as my rest. I think this is satisfactory. The only reason I don't like to use the game changer bag, even the pint size, is sometimes it sits too tall. And so you actually need the larger game changer just to wedge it around these ladder steps, these rungs. But this one that I was given, it actually splays out nicely. So you'll have to experiment on various ladders whether or not you want to use your bag that's wedge bag like this. But if the wedge bag is large, I didn't bring my my fortune cookie. I have one, I never use it. I should really use it someday. But that one I think will wedge around this pretty well on these fat rungs. But my canvas game changer bag sits too tall, and so that's kind of why I like the nylon version. And this one has less fill, and it flattens out pretty well, so I can get a good clearance on these ladder rungs. Anyway, that's just my kind of my run through. I dropped around because of wind, but aside from position, it was pretty good. I mean, I think I like the way I shot it. I think most people will benefit from shooting that bottom rung first to shoot from a quasi-prone position like I did. Get your 4 shots in the most stable position. The 4 shots on a single rung on the most stable position, and then work your way wherever you like. Again, shooting kind of hunched over like this, I just get that bounce, and it's just not ideal for me. It's not as stable as I'd like it to be. I guess technically I could just not put too much pressure and force it in and just sort of let it bounce on the rung. But this, if I had this a little bit balanced better, like I need to put weights. I have the weights, I never installed them. But if I had it truly balanced, I would probably just let it sit and I should have no problems shooting like this. But I haven't gamed my rifle out fully yet, so maybe one day I'll put in those weights. Anyway, that's it for this stage. Let's move on to the last stage of the course of fire that I have yet to shoot. Last stage we're going to run through is called Shot Through the Heart, 120-second part time, 10 rounds. It's got 2 targets, both at 85 yards. We have a 2.5 inch and a 3 inch on a double hanger, 85 yards. 1 piece of equipment in accordance to rules, 10 points per impact, 100 points possible. So 500 points total on this course of fire, not counting bonus points. You're going to start standing, rifle and all gear in hand, mag in action open. Upon the start signal, engage the 3 inch target with 3 shots from the back of the chair. Then engage the 2.5 inch target with 3 shots from the seat of the chair. Move to the 5-gallon bucket and engage the 3 inch target with 2 shots on its side. Bucket on its side. I actually have stuff in here. Hopefully this will all spill out. And then engage the 2.5 inch target with 2 shots with the bucket on its end. In the picture, they have it like this. So I'm guessing like that. So anyway, there's a notation at the bottom of this description. The chair will be facing downrange. So the chair is facing downrange. When shooting from the back of the chair, nothing may be touching the seat. Engage from the seat means rifle on the seat, not the shooter. So I guess people are gaming this from previous course descriptions by sitting on the chair. Whatever. Seems pretty straightforward. So chair 3 and then bucket 2. So 3, 3, 2, 2. Total of 10. All right, let's see how it goes. Dropped one round. Should have paid attention to clock, but I finished at 99 seconds, dropped 1 round. Pulled that first shot on the 2.5. Sorry if you didn't hear that. I pulled 1 shot to 2.5, finished with 99 seconds on the clock after my last round. So I could have slowed it down a little bit. Sorry, I clipped this microphone on. When I got to this last portion, I wasn't really clear how I was going to shoot this. I actually didn't run through this dry fired before this, so I kind of in my head thought, hey, how would I solve this problem? I guess this would have worked. I could have just slowed down. I think I could have gotten a better sitting position, to be honest. We're shooting at an elevation or an angle, so I need to get a little bit more up travel here. But on level ground, this is perfect. But here, I could have gotten it. I just cramped my rib here, my ab, my right side. But this would have been an easy shot. I don't have any more rounds here. My other mag's over there. But if I'd taken my time on this one, I could have taken a few extra seconds to get this shot squared away. Would have been clean. So anyway, if you noticed on this first portion, I had the bipod open and I was sort of using my spigot mount. So for open shooters, you got to benefit from the open shooters against base class. You got a little bit more leeway. I don't think, can you have spigot mounts in base? I don't think, no, you can't. There's no spigot mounts in base. But I mean, you can use your bipod just as easily. I could have shot it like this. It would have just been as stable, to be honest. So, I mean, that's not an advantage there for me with the spigot mount, but that's how I shot it. To be honest, I probably would have saved more time had I just shot it like this instead of using my spigot mount, because I had to fold my bipod legs to get it under here. So, probably should have just shot bipod legs forward, and then splayed the bipod legs open for this stage. You can shoot it sitting. I think most people, depending on your body type, probably benefit from shooting this prone. If you get down in position, you can probably shoot this prone a lot better with your bag, giving you the stability for your body to shoot elevated. But yeah, definitely want to practice this stage at home. Get a 5-gallon bucket and a chair, and just see how your body's going to work shooting those positions. But other than that, it should be a pretty simple stage. You should get pretty stable on this, depending on how you configure your rifle. Anyway, that's it for the course of fire. I'm going to run through a few rounds, probably off camera, just to get some shooting in. Still a little early. I don't have to be out of here anytime soon, although I want to run some errands before I get home. But yeah, let me shoot a few rounds, and then I'll pack it in. Almost done packing up. We're going to seal up the cons container. You can see here around me, it's pretty active here in the pistol bays, or in the adjacent pistol bays, on this Saturday morning. I mean, it started to warm up quite a bit. I actually probably going to take off this second overcoat I'm wearing. But as far as the NRL22 February 2021 course of fire, it's pretty straightforward. I think I dropped 3 rounds. I for sure saved 1 round. I timed out, and I dropped 2. I missed 2 for sure. So I think I only dropped 3 or 4 rounds, which isn't too bad. It was, as you may have seen, it was pretty straightforward as far as all the different stages. Not much movement really, I don't think. Several stages were only on a single distance, so there's not much target movement either. You're not switching from target to target as often. So it's a pretty good beginner month, I think. February, this course of fire should be good. Just a couple tips is just your support side shooting. Just make sure that you practice with your support eye, because for me, my only difficulty of shooting support side is just my eye and the way I perceive my reticle. Sometimes I have to adjust the reticle if I can, especially if you're shooting first focal plane. If your support eye, or whatever your opposite eye is, if you're not very good with your corrective lenses, or if you don't use correction and your support eye is not that very well focused, you're gonna have problems picking up a reticle, especially if you're shooting first focal plane and you have it dialed down to like half of your magnification on your scope. So the little trick I used during my run was to turn on the magnification, which helped me to just at least see my hash marks better when I had it dialed down to 12 magnification or 10 magnification. Outside of that, I think the sawhorse stage, where you're going from like standing to slung prone, I recommend going at home and figuring out the most optimal way for you to switch between those positions. That's my only tip there. And outside of that, it's a pretty straightforward course of fire. Anyway, that's it for today. Not much to do here outside of shooting the course of fire. I didn't bring any other guns with me. I put new grips on my 38. If you follow me on Instagram, I put new grips, VZ grips on my Smith & Wesson 642. to get a little bit more grip on there. Those factory grips weren't all that great, so it feels a little better, but I need to try those out. I actually need to load some ammo for that. Just make some hand loads. I'm debating on a new gun. I'm actually considering getting a Kid 1022 receiver. KRG came out with their 1022 chassis, which supports the Kid. It's already inletted for the rear tang screw on the Kid action. So that's the one thing I hate about 1022s, is the fact that you only have a single action screw. So that acts as a pivot point. So if you don't bed your 1022s, you're not getting good accuracy out of those things. So that's my as far as recommendations there, I would bed a 1022, but for this project, I was thinking about getting a Kid receiver and running that rear tang screw with that KRG 1022 chassis. Thinking about it, priced it out, it might cost about $1,000 to $1,200 without an optic. So we'll see. I'm just thinking about it. That's everything, right? Receiver, bolt, barrel, chassis, trigger. The trigger is probably more expensive than the action. It's a lot over there. But yeah, I'm considering it. But I really want to get a Voodoo single shot. But that's even more money, because it's more money, right? That's at least $1,200 for the action, I think. A lot of things I want to do, but I don't know. I want to spend the money on everything, right? As much as I'd like to acquire all these things. So we'll see. Anyway, that's it for today. Today is January 30th, Saturday, here at the West End Gun Club. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next vlog.